evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader. Today is Tuesday, May the 24th, 2022. I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, Manchester's Dr. Florence has been barred from prescribing controlled substances. The Walker Collaborative presented its draft plan for Tullahoma 2040. Tennessee unemployment has rebounded beyond pre-pandemic numbers, and we'll have some of the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce's annual Women Impacting the Community event. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader.
MacArthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at MacArthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at MacArthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. Well, it was an exciting ride, but on Sunday night's American Idol finale, Winchester native Hunter Wolkanowski, also known as Hunter Girl, came in second place. Noah Thompson won the competition and will receive a $250,000 grand prize and recording contract. The contestant sang a Bruce Springsteen classic. Hunter Girl sang Dancing in the Dark and had the audience moving to the rhythm of the song. Katy Perry said, quote, "You're really having fun with it. This is your stage. You brought your electricity." Lionel Richie added that she owned the stage and, quote, you are responsible for your career, and my dear, you have a career," end quote. The finalists also performed an original song they recently recorded. Hunter Girl sang Redbird. Luke Bryan applauded Hunter Girl for her songwriting ability. The top contestants had a chance to duet with famous musicians. Bryan performed with Hunter Girl, singing Randy Travis's hit, "I Told You So." Perry and Lee Marlene sang Perry's hit, "Firework," and Noah Thompson performed with singer Melissa Etheridge. Hunter Girl grew up in Winchester, Tennessee. She started performing at her local church and competing in various singing contests, including 2 performances at Tullahoma's own South Jackson Goes Country. Tennessee residents have supported Hunter Girl from her first days as a contestant on American Idol. Oldham Theater in Winchester offered free watch parties for community members to enjoy Hunter Girl's performances, and the whole town of Winchester welcomed Hunter Girl and American Idol's team on May 17th for a day filled with exciting activities honoring Hunter Girl. South Jackson Civic Center in Tullahoma also welcomed the community for a free event to enjoy Hunter Girl's talent. On May 20th, Executive Director Greg Gressel said South Jackson Civic Center was ready to offer full support to Hunter Girl and added that she has been a beloved member of our South Jackson Goes Country family. While we were saddened that Hunter Girl didn't claim the top spot, we'll have to agree with Lionel Richie that she's got a long career ahead of her. Congratulations from everyone here at P-Head Productions on your journey. In other news, United States Attorney Mark Wilderson for the Middle District of Tennessee announced a settlement was reached last week with Dr. David Florence of Manchester, Tennessee, in which Dr. Florence agreed to be barred from prescribing Schedule II and the majority of Schedule III controlled substances. Pursuant to the consent judgment and permanent injunction, Dr. Florence is permanently barred from issuing prescriptions for any controlled substances under Schedules II and III of the Controlled Substances Act, with limited exceptions for certain asthma products as allowed by Tennessee law, testosterone, and 2 migraine medications. Dr. Florence also agreed not to order or store any controlled substances, not to prescribe to himself, any immediate family members, employees, or significant others. Under the terms of the agreement, the DEA has the right to enter Florence's registered location at any time during business hours without notice for the purpose of determining compliance. In addition, Florence must comply with all laws concerning the supervision of mid-level providers. If Florence fails to comply with the terms of the settlement agreement, he is subject to civil penalties, criminal charges, and/or the revocation of his DEA registration. This agreement resolves all remaining claims the United States asserted against Florence, stemming from a lawsuit originally filed by the former office manager of a Cookeville, Tennessee pain clinic where Florence practiced, which was brought under the whistleblower provisions of the False Claims Act. U.S. Attorney Wilda Singh said, quote, "We rely on whistleblowers to help identify unlawful conduct. We greatly appreciate the assistance that the realtor in this case provided throughout the investigation and court proceedings that allowed us to stop Dr. Florence from ever again prescribing the dangerous controlled substances at issue here. This extraordinary injunctive relief is one of the many ways in which the United States can protect the public from providers who recklessly prescribe or fail to properly supervise others in prescribing dangerous controlled substances," end quote. In March of 2016, the United States filed a civil complaint and intervention alleging violations of the Controlled Substances Act and the False Claims Act against Florence and other defendants. As to Florence, the United States alleged that he prescribed controlled substances that had no legitimate medical purpose and failed to properly supervise mid-level practitioners. The United States previously obtained settlements that resulted in the dismissal of its claims against all other defendants named in its complaint and intervention. And we'll be right back with more News Leader after these messages.
I am tremendously blessed to be living at Parkview and very happy to be part of a loving and caring community.
Best thing you can say is this really a great place to live. That's all there is to it, no doubt about that.
It's your home. You just do what you would if you were at your private home. You know, we love it. It's great.
It's just like having a whole neighborhood around you, and it's fun.
It's just a great place to live.
Times are very challenging right now, and stress levels are high.
Reports indicate overdoses on the rise in communities across the state of Tennessee.
Those experiencing addiction and their loved ones may be struggling to navigate through all the change.
We want you to know that deaths from overdose are preventable.
And help is available.
Anytime.
Day or night.
How do I know?
How do I know?
I am a face of recovery in Tennessee.
We tend to lose our motivation when we have something that's chronic, but you've got to do what you can early on as you can. After I'd exercise like that, I would have a lot of energy to do housework or whatever I needed. Well, I would recommend it highly to anyone at any degree of Parkinson.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. The Walker Collaborative presented their draft plan for Tullahoma's Vision 2040 on Thursday night at South Jackson Civic Center. In this clip, they discussed their ideas for having a downtown amphitheater where Traders Bank is currently located and proposed zoning changes.
We've also proposed a new park. If you look at this map, you can see this is primarily where Traders Bank is right now. It's at the corner of Grundy and Jackson, and the idea would be to have this lawn that's an amphitheater with movable seating. In the corner you can see the stage, which would also have concessions and public restrooms. And by the way, the public restrooms could be open year-round, which is a huge amenity for your downtown. You could have a farmer's market. If you can see up there adjacent to Wall Street, which is essentially an alley, you could do a farmer's market there. We're showing tents. And then if you retain London's current parking, you might be able to bring food trucks in for special events. If you go to the next slide, please. So here's what it could look like. And then let me show you one other scenario. Next slide, please. This is the exact same approach, but if the London's parking area could be redeveloped and as we said, other parking could be created elsewhere. You could actually put some retail buildings in, one-story retail where we were showing the food trucks before. If you go to the next slide, there's an illustration of that. So that's the exact same rendering, except that the food trucks are gone and the retail's in that foreground. Next slide, please. On economic vitality, land uses are a key part of that. You know, allowing housing to have ground floor to allow ground floor housing on streets that aren't shopping streets. A meeting venue, and Randy did a market study on the prospects of a meeting venue. Oftentimes lodging is part of something like that, but even though a market analysis would need to be conducted to determine is there sufficient market demand for lodging. And then we recommended a brewery or distillery to kind of play off the distillery history. With business development, it's important to do a retail market analysis to figure out what's the optimal tenant mix, do a building inventory to figure out where those types of businesses could go, and then put together recruitment materials, a recruitment team, and then start going out and doing business recruitment. And then financial tools, I'm not going to get into that right now. Randy's going to touch on some of those, but for downtown specifically, tax increment financing and a business improvement district might have potential. Next slide, please. And then finally, on promotion, you know, this is something that the city has a major role in, you know, there with Parks and Recreation. So, you know, more events, if you have that public space that we're recommending, that would help with that. Digital media, like a website and social media that the Main Street program would head up. And then just some other strategies like shop local campaigns and encouraging and regulating food trucks.
The Walker Collaborative also spoke about the need for more housing in the area.
As you can see, there were some concepts that came out of the housing market analysis related to downtown mixed-use development, based again on the market study, and neighborhood infill types of projects. So 50 to 200 units, which the market could support over the next 5 to 7 years in terms of neighborhood infill. There were also, if we could go to the next slide, and I can find the arrow. Can't see it. Oh, okay. Demand for apartment communities, both market rate and workforce housing that could be located in your commercial corridors, for example, and support young professionals, singles, students, and others in need of workforce housing locally. And then traditional neighborhoods with 150 or so units, for sale housing with a mix of market rate, single family, and townhouses. So there are various types of concepts that came out of the market study. Then there are ways to leverage that type of development, such as through identifying and facilitating the creation of specific potential development sites in collaboration with different private property owners, creating marketing tours for regional brokers and developers to help market those sites, and then identifying and facilitating site development for apartment communities and conducting outreach to potential developers of those. And then finally, there's funding and leveraging opportunities for housing, such as by providing master planning assistance or technical assistance to provide assistance to developers or property owners to help get those sites developed, fast tracking of certain sites that have been pre-approved for development, creating infrastructure to help leverage development, et cetera, and also like a pilot program which are fairly common throughout the state for redevelopment of key states, or a tax increment financing district that would include downtown and some of the corridors to promote inclusion, for example, of workforce units, or to leverage the type of development that you'd like to see.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. Rolling gonna grow and get bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash jogging up the byways. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Welcome back. Under Governor Bill Lee and President Joe Biden, Tennessee's employment has fully rebounded from the pandemic, surpassing pre-pandemic levels of employment. More than 45,500 more people holding jobs now than in February of 2020. The Tennessee Quarterly Business and Economic Indicators Report, issued by Secretary of State Trey Haggard's office, shows that the state unemployment dropped to 3.2%, below the national rate of 3.6%. Secretary Haggard said, quote, "Employment exceeding pre-pandemic levels is an important milestone for our state. It reflects Tennesseans' resilience and our leaders' commitment to a business-friendly environment that encourages investment and job growth. As the economy resets, we are seeking more companies choosing to make Tennessee their new home," end quote. New business filings in the first quarter of 2022 grew 8.7% from first quarter filings in 2021, marking 42 consecutive quarters of year-over-year growth. Over 77,000 new businesses filed over the past year, and 21,353 new entities filed in the first quarter of 2022. Growth in business filings typically leads to growth in jobs, personal income, and state revenue. The largest number of filings in the first quarter were in Memphis, followed by Nashville, Knoxville, and Chattanooga. These four most populous counties accounted for 44.3% of new filings statewide. However, most of the year-over-year growth in filings occurred in Tennessee's other 91 counties. Businesses in those counties expanded by 16.2%, reflecting efforts across the state on workforce development, education, infrastructure, and responsible fiscal management. Bill Fox, director of the Boyd Center for Business and Economic Research, said, quote, "Everywhere you look, there's evidence that the strong economic momentum in Tennessee isn't slowing down. Non-farm employment has not only recovered to pre-pandemic levels, but has exceeded them. Tax revenues are up, personal incomes are up. Our growing economy is not only beneficial to Tennesseans, but attractive to others wanting to move here too," end quote. This report provides a snapshot of the state's economy based on key indicators, including new business data from the Secretary of State's Division of Business and Charitable Organizations. It is published through a partnership with the University of Tennessee Knoxville's Boyd Center for Business and Economic Research and Secretary of State. To review the complete Tennessee Quarterly Business and Economic Indicators Report, visit sos.tn.gov. The Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce's annual Women Impacting the Community event was held last week at Lakewood Golf and Country Club. We have several winners from the event. Our first clip is the award for the category of business. The winner was Mary Mealer from the Tullahoma Utilities Authority.
Leadership and commitment are qualities that Mary has demonstrated both within and outside her workplace. For 42 years, Mary has been devoted to her company with a can-do attitude and inspiring dedication that have made her an asset to the Tullahoma Utilities Authority. She leads a team made up of members of various functions, makes sure each department meets their business goals, and manages an annual budget of $50 million. Mary contributes to her profession every day with her outstanding customer service, dedication to quality, and training that she provides to the TUA staff, public or community service. Mary is also dedicated to helping the community. She has developed and leads the TUA Heart to Heart program, collecting funds throughout the year to a long list of service and community organizations. She always has a positive and friendly attitude, even in difficult times. She leads by example, shows respect for other people's ideas, and encourages her peers to be their best. She is inspiring to her peers and inspiring to us. Congratulations, Mary Mueller.
Oh, wow, this isn't going to work. Okay, I just want to say thank you. And as Elizabeth and James both said, there are so many amazing women in Tullahoma, strong women. So I feel so honored, and thank you.
And we'll be right back with more from the Women Impacting the Community Luncheon after these messages.
MacArthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at MacArthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at MacArthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. Also at last week's Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce's annual Women Impacting the Community Luncheon, Colleen Saunders was recognized for her community service.
Colleen is a quiet but powerhouse lady. She has been involved with the arts movement at South Jackson for more than 40 years. In that time, she's had an incredible impact on South Jackson and the arts of Tullahoma. She is a grant writer for the organization and has even served on grant review panels for the state because of her extensive knowledge. She serves as the operations president for South Jackson Performing Arts, overseeing all the departments that keep the organization running. To add to the list of those duties, she volunteers for every event we host in whatever capacity she is needed. A true servant leader. At a time in her life where she could sit back, relax, enjoy retirement, she has instead chosen to help us lead South Jackson into the next decade. She rolls her sleeves up every day and asks what she can do to help make South Jackson an even better organization. On top of her 30-plus hours a week at South Jackson, she teaches 2 to 3 classes a semester at Motlow State Community College, and until the last year was a small business owner for over 15 years. All of this while she has been actively involved with her church, an officer of the GFWC Centennial Women's Club, Shady Grove Garden Club, Tullahoma Fine Arts Center member, Arts Council of Tullahoma officer, and the list goes on and on. Please help me congratulate Colleen Saunders.
off guard. It has kind of caught me off guard because there's so many wonderful women in this room that deserve this. And when I look out, I see women who tutor, I see women who rescue animals, I see women who feed the homeless. I see a community, and a community I'm very proud of.
And don't forget to tune in to this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Samantha Terrell Waters, who will invite people to come audition for this year's South Jackson Goes Country. We'll hear about Shelbyville's Juneteenth event, and we'll have May's Doggy of the Month from the Tullahoma Animal Shelter. All that and more on this week's Living. And stay with us, we'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
I feel like we're safe at Parkview.
There's somebody on staff all the time. So if you need help, help is there.
We are surrounded with people that are looking after us and taking care of us.
The staff is wonderful and always available. We feel so safe and secure here.
I feel safe at Parkview all the time.
There's a lot of talk about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, but the reality is, it's safer than going for a run. Give it a shot. Find a free appointment today at covid19.tn.gov.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this date. Our record high was in 1904 at 94 degrees. The record low was in 1931 at 36 degrees. The average high for this day is 79 and the average low is 58. Chance of storms for tonight with a low of 66. Thunderstorms expected for Wednesday with a high of 83 and a low of 64, and thunderstorms continuing into Thursday, a high of 75 and a low of 57. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. for News Leader. Stay safe and have a great evening.